Travis, man, good so. So, the final session of conference and the final commentary for the conference. Uchtdorf was talking about his baptism, how the building was demolished, just like the one here in Utah that was supposed to not be demolished, but was demolished, and now a non-profit Mormon has bought it and is going to remodel it and be cool to his fellow Mormons. Anybody who knows their Book of Mormon, especially Alma chapter 32, starting in verse 28, know that he's lying to you. You cannot feel truth. You learn the truth by producing the results of the Word. And so he is diverting you away from the Book of Mormon teachings. Thus is a false prophet. It's a real simple thing, but Mormons will be upset with me. They don't understand that these guys are evil. They're leading Mormons astray, and Mormons allow them to lead them astray. And they give of them of their substance, and they get conned and scammed and weaponized to attack people like me. And so this is just pure abominable. You don't nourish a testimony. Testimony is the fruit. You nourish faith to produce the testimony, which is the fruit. You cannot tell the truth. And this, dear God, they don't even bother to tell you they're a corporation, that they are not a legitimate religion. All your marriages, nope, worthless, illegal. You're having sex with an illegal woman or man. And so, yeah, the church is obsessed with porn. Yeah, no wonder. They're pushing a religious agenda on all mankind to obey it. Project 2025. That's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And yet, they're not a religion. They are a complete and utter fraud in all ways. His will for you, follow him. And he doesn't appear. He doesn't tell you his will. You're supposed to listen to the prophets, and they tell you the will of God. That's the trap. Stronger testimony. Oh my hell. He just keeps pushing the falsehood. The Book of Mormon testifies of him. Strengthen your testimony. Excuse me? That's a contradiction. If the Book of Mormon testifies, it means they've actually seen him. Oh, 3 Nephi 11 physically appears to the Nephites. Literal history. We know this. And yet, he's telling us to feel and strengthen feelings that we now call testimony. See how he's switching it off. See, unless he wants to come out and confess the Book of Mormon is not literal history, then it's not real. And therefore, strengthening the testimony. You might as well say that the New Testament about Jesus is not real. You just strengthen your testimony by reading others who had feelings and told stories in their head about this guy named Jesus. Never happened, but I feel good about it. Do you not see what he's doing here? It's the same thing with the video clip, the music video about Jesus. Oh, he's all real. Look at all the magical powers he does to other people when he's around. But then they tell you he's real, believe, and you'll be healed, just like those people who he was physically with. How is he supposed to heal us if he's not around? But when he was around in literal history of Christianity and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, why does he have to be there? It's a contradiction that is blatantly obvious and in your face, and Mormons won't catch it. And then they become weapons for the church about how awful you are, Travis. Leave us alone. Religious freedom. Bleep you all. You're going to be that stupid and demand that I be stupid with you? Bleep you. See, now he's telling jokes and the audience is laughing. They're all hypnotized. They have no clue that he just lied to them and contradicted the whole doctrine. You know, I understand older single women, they all call him the silver fox. Oh, God. Married women getting all hot and horny for Uchtdorf. God. You know, I guess since they're not legally, lawfully wedded, which is hilarious, because before Nelson changed it to child bride polygamy in 2019, it was legally and lawfully wedded, according to the laws of the land. And none of them are licensed. You're a sealer, not licensed. This is not a religion. This is a corporation. They have no authority to marry anybody as a religion. It's a corporation. 1923, November 26th, Heber J. Grant. It's a corporation. Our testimony will be tested and tried. Now he's going against the tree of life. You follow the word of God to the results. You now know, and yet the Book of Mormon talks about people who get there. They eat of the results of the word, and because of Mormons at the stake centers laughing and mocking them for reading the Book of Mormon, producing the fruit of the truth of the word, they are ashamed. He just said he's not a seer. We can't see the future. I'm not a seer. Let me get that picture. Elder Uchtdorf. I wonder what that means. It's like a tree. No. See, now he's mixing it with the. What are you doing? Biography. I want the picture. What the hell? Who did this? See, he's talking about it, and yet he explained it wrong. With the misinformation, the misdefining, the redefining of error. Dear God, what a nightmare this was. So, dear God. See, he has comforted him in his afflictions. Really? How? Did he show up? No. He's talking about creating a feeling. and saying that it's Jesus. That's a psychological fraud. Psychologists do that. School shooting, bring in the kids. You need to feel to cope. To just get over it, kid. Go to hell. I'll be back for more, I guess. We got a member of the 70 now, so. Trying out for who's the next Mormon apostle. And so, Razban just confirmed it. Apostolic witness. I know he lives. No, you don't. You haven't seen him. It's the Uchtdorf conundrum. Just because the Book of Mormon has stories of people seeing Jesus and the New Testament has stories of people seeing Jesus does not mean you've seen them. Does not mean we can see them. You're not getting it. And then he goes and says, when we support him, we give loyalty to the church, as he's defining it for you. It's a loyalty oath. It is not support in the concept of supporting your children in helping them do what they want to do. I want to become a ballerina, mommy. Okay, let's get you into a program. That kind of support. No, their support is what he defined it as, loyalty oaths. To protect them from criminal prosecution. To acknowledge that their revisionist history is true. They say it. I don't lie. I don't make things up about these guys. They say it. He just said it. Mormons are on vacation at the Capitol building spreading poop on the walls. Just disgusting. And so now they're using the Moses story of and it has to do, oh my God. Let Jesus prevail, Moses. These guys need to fall. That's so frustrating. Because now it's making it seem like we gotta now wait until next weekend. God. So I just want to scream. Want to scream, literally scream. So, Cook, former lawyer, talks about when he was a young lawyer, missionaries had a couple, read the whole Book of Mormon, believed the church was Christian true, but they had received a whole bunch of critical pamphlets. And instead of going over the critical complaints, they said, you already have the right feeling. All of this, therefore, is wrong. No. You have to explain the criticism. You can't just dismiss it. Now, if the criticism is just people throwing out lies and accusations, you worship the devil, drinking blood babies, yeah, you can ignore those hateful people. But if they're saying, the Book of Mormon says this, you need to explain that to the investigators. You have to explain, why does the Book of Mormon say it's Jewish, but there's Christian Jesus in 3 Nephi 11? You need to explain it. You can't say, well, that's anti-Mormon, anti-Christ literature. Don't listen to it. There's a big difference. And Expo Nevermos are not getting this. They think that they can throw out accusations against the church and therefore it sticks and therefore the church isn't true. and they can get people to leave the church. No, you got to be scientific. You've got to use science. You can't say, well, Book of Mormon's not Christian, therefore it's not true. Wrong argument. That's called fallacy. You've got to use sound, logical arguments. If you use fallacy at any point in your theory development, you're wrong. And so you're not going to convince a Mormon. But the church, as you hear, they've already weaponized anybody who doesn't agree with their position as wrong. Mormons must believe the lie because it's Jewish, not Christian. And so here he is saying the Book of Mormon is literal history, and you just feel good about it as you draw closer to God with the right feelings. And it doesn't matter about science, doesn't matter about truth. And he quotes from Wilford Woodruff's journal and claims that it was Joseph. Precepts. He's again doing the same thing, the same pattern of these speakers for this session. Telling you the lie, but then telling you the truth directly from the Book of Mormon as if it confirms the lie that they just told. And he even quotes precepts. Dear God, precepts. 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 2, learning of the Jews. That's a precept. Is it true? You can't just pray about it and get the right feeling that it's Christian, because you're wrong. It says Jewish. And so, in order to produce the fruit of Jewish religion, you need to learn Jewish religion. Who is the Christ of the Jews? And when you understand they don't believe in Jesus, you now have the question, well, why is Jesus in 3 Nephi chapter 11? For that matter, since the Bible is Jewish, why is Jesus in those 4 Gospels? Why are there other Gospels with Jesus that aren't included in the Bible? Then you begin to understand, oh, the creation of Christianity under Roman Emperor Constantine. This is what investigators are supposed to be doing, learning Judaism. But Christianity and Islam are over 4 billion on the earth right now. And they're spreading the lies, and they are threatening people to believe them, or you're the enemy and you must be destroyed. And here he is, subject to God's justice. Really? Because I don't believe the Book of Mormon is Christian? How did I know? How did I know? Just incredible how evil these guys are, and they don't care about you. And you're falling for it. See, as a kid, I'm able to make these connections. Wait a minute. The Book of Mormon says this. My teacher says this. The person at the pulpit at church said this. The 70 said this. The member of the apostles contradicted the 70 to say this. My parents say this. There's just so much confusion in this church. As Joseph Smith is saying, yeah, that's Christianity for you. When you turn things literal history, you have confusion. You have people making things up because you've now altered the original meaning of the author. You now are the author, rewriting what they said. And so you have to make things up. How does Jesus come from outer space? As a physical, tangible being subject to the laws of physics. Well, the laws of physics no longer apply to Jesus. And you're now going against the laws of physics. When you're not getting it, you're incorporating falsehood, mingling it with truth. and you're going off course. And here he is feeding that frenzy as a lawyer. He's not going to talk about what the critical. It's intended to draw you away from. Yeah, of course it is. Because they say it's not God's truth. They say that's a lie. You see how he's doing this? He's conning you. God's truth is not Christianity. It's Jewish. Oh my hell. See, again, another lawyer that needs to be locked up in prison. All of his cases now have to be re-examined, because if this is how he believes and this is how he practiced his lawyer skills, all those cases that he was involved with need to be re-examined, just like the Menendez brothers. So this member of the 70 who talked about the temptations of Christ, not the movie. This is where a knowledge of the Jews would greatly benefit your understanding of the scriptures. He says, well, you shouldn't question Jesus' divinity. Well, we don't see him. I'm questioning. No, you can't do that. No, this is where the Jewish author is trying to get across the importance of the Jewish law. And you miss it with Christianity and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Similar to what is missed by not knowing Greek with Jesus talking with Peter, feed my sheep. Do you love me? Yeah. Feed my sheep. You don't understand what is being said because you don't have a correct translation. And with Jesus going to Utah, confronting Lucifer, Lucifer is throwing psalms at him, saying, according to the Psalm of David, you have these powers. And then Jesus throws it right back in his face with the law, Deuteronomy. And everybody misses this. Except for me, when I tried to put them in the footnotes, hopefully the majority of them remained. I did the book of Matthew, remember? Revised the footnotes from the dumbasses who did it originally. So, there's so much more to understand if you get rid of Christianity, especially with the Book of Mormon. And it's all in vain. Because the reason why I'm frustrated is because there's patterns that are going on. Today is a pattern. Hales died on the Sunday conference in 2017. This Sunday conference in the last year of the latter days, as Hales died in the first year of the latter days, is the Fast of Gedalia, a Jewish holy day. There's a whole bunch of Jewish holy days that are going on with fulfillment of scriptural prophecies. And so, if nothing happens today, as it's now after 3, so I'm getting frustrated because I don't want to keep going on. We now have the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. And yes, that too has a pattern. Going back to the tetrad, which the author got wrong. It was the sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven, which Perry Packer Scott, Jewish God, Jewish holy days, took them out. And the final one, Scott, died on Yom Kippur that year in 2015. So here's the pattern. Day of Atonement. Last year, this is the Day of Judgment that all Scripture has been prophesying for. The Day of Judgment. Yom Kippur. Saturday. This Saturday. And I'm frustrated because the next week on Wednesday, that's the Exodus. Lehi leaves before utter destruction. Members of the church stay behind, don't believe, don't leave. They wanted to murder Lehi. We are righteous. How dare you? Church is true. And then they leave in the Book of Mormon as the Mulekites to become the Zarahemlites in Zarahemla. The two Exoduses. The first who leave in advance, believing in Lehi, the prophet, the man like Moses, in the Exodus, to Zion, to build Zion. And then the second group are survivors who are in the wrong location. But it ends up becoming the right location, depending on the story. And so, yes, nobody believes with the destruction of the church, of Utah, of Mormons won't know what to do. They'll do their own thing. There'll be a whole bunch of different people doing all sorts of different things. Many will claim that they're now the leader of the church. Follow me, I know exactly what to do. Jesus told me. You're going to get a whole bunch of false prophets trying to preserve the church that they knew and understood. And I've had this before. I would talk about the economy of Zion, and then I'd get a person who makes a comment, oh, I know exactly how the economy of Zion should work. Contact me and I'll inform you of how it's going to be. And so I would comment on the reply and quote 2 Nephi chapter 26, no monetary system of economy. Never hear from them again. Those kinds of things. And it is very frustrating, as I'm going to do a video, I don't know, I guess I got another week now. Just procrastinated, because I'm pissed. Because I know that some dumbass is going to make a comment, well, nobody died today, Travis. Did you not pay attention to the picture? 15 times 2. Is it the 15th? No! When is it the 15th? I talk about it in the first video I did explaining the dream. On 9/11. That's the Feast of Tabernacles, the 17th, which in the Jewish calendar is the 15th. Passover and Tabernacles begin on the 15th. That is the dream. It's not about people dying. It was Irene who wanted to put his hands on my head. I didn't want him to. Get away from me. Don't touch me. And so I'm trying to figure out how is the dream going to be fulfilled as prophecy. I know it was a prophecy dream. I was told it was. I've had numerous prophecy dreams. I know what they are. And it always ends up being after they happen, I go, oh, okay, that's how it happened. But it's very frustrating, because it means that in order for Eyring to have authority to do that in Brigham's church, Nelson, Oakes, and Holland have to go bye-bye. And so, thus, I'm going back to the patterns that have already happened to see if the patterns are going to match. I'm running a test, is what I'm doing. Today is the fast of Gedalia. The Jewish God has been taken out, presidents of this church, according to a pattern. That's why I'm watching, I'm paying attention, trying to figure it out. And so, yeah, Nelson became the president of the 12 to be the president of the church because of Scott's death. Even though Scott was further back in the line. But Perry Packer Scott dying on Yom Kippur. So it's going to make things a little more stressful, because that'll be a Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be work days. And then boom, there it is. But the third day of Tabernacles was when Joseph is involved. So I'm going to be pissed. I just want this to end, and I don't want excuses to have it extended. And I'm just not getting Mormons' attention. They are refusing and defiant to accept truth. They're falling for this back and forth con, where they say one thing that violates the Book of Mormon, then they quote the Book of Mormon as if it's validating their falsehood. And Mormons know what I'm talking about. You talk about a spiritual witness, and you justify it with Moroni chapter 10. But I can take you right there and go, boom, there, manifest the truth. Huh? What is that, spiritual witness? No, you illiterates! You can't fool me. You're just like anarchists. And you're not supposed to do that with the religion. And I don't think Mormons understand this. To be an anarchist Mormon destroys the church. Now, if you think that the church isn't true, and so you're purposely being an anarchist for Jesus to destroy the church, that's a stupid way to go, because you're hurting people. You are causing harm. That makes you evil. You're not doing good by destroying the church. But this is what the Illuminati had been planning to do the whole time. Destroy Christianity by being anarchists within Christianity. That's why you have all of these Christian nationalists rising up, going to extremes, claiming they have religious freedom to take away the rights and privileges of others. Abortion, for example, is the biggest scandal that you all know about. You do not have the right to touch other people's agency. But here's Christians are. They put their people in the court, and their people in the court overthrew Roe v. Wade in violation of the 14th Amendment, Section 1. This is the church that's doing this, using the evangelicals from the secret band of Gadianton in America, the Council for National Policy, that is actively overthrowing the government. Done the videos. Oakes confessed. Wasn't supposed to get leaked. It got leaked by a little sister missionary. Travis is right. Just don't let him know about it. just so frustrating. So I guess it's the prophet time. So I'll do a separate one here.